Hey guys, what's up? This is Tom Burkhart from Car Revs Daily in the 2017 Infiniti Q60 RS400. Should we just start every review with a big burnout? Fine by me. We're going out for a quick drive on the handling loop here in Charleston, South Carolina, and excited to show you guys how much I still love this car and some of the differences between this RS400 rear-wheel drive and the one we tested a couple months ago. So hang on tight, let's go for it. So let's structure this review as what is the Q60, what are some awesome traits that it has, and how does it do out on this very demanding handling road, and lastly we'll close out on pricing and equipment. So Q60 is the new G37 coupe. So this is the new executive sports coupe that from Infiniti that competes with the BMW 4 Series, Mercedes-Benz C-Class coupe, Audi A5, Cadillac ATS, and even cars like Camaro and Mustang and Challenger. Because the coupe is so cool, really it has a lot of rivals from any kind of sports car up and down the range. You could even say a Civic Type R is a rival, for example. But this two-door sports coupe really brings the beans. Was all new for 2017 and is very, very beautiful and very impressive to drive. In this Car Revs Daily version 2.0 video, we've got lots of external cameras so you can actually see the car while we are on this handling road here, and hopefully hear it a little bit too. So Q60 comes with 3 engine options. The first is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. The second is a turbo V6 making 300 horsepower, and then this top dog is the RS400, which is also a twin turbocharged 3-liter V6, but really cranks up the boost and adds an air-to-water intercooler with dual pumps and lots of other performance upgrades to get the power to 400 horsepower and 350 foot-pounds of torque. This engine is a real giant killer. It's a V8 killer, and it's a real gem. Passing power is always huge and always present, and wheel spin is easy to come by as well. But really, the things that stick with you about this Q60 are the way is the way it handles and the way it drives. It's such a pure and balanced handling experience with so much grip and so much pure mechanical feel that it's kind of weird to say that it will give you crazy wheel spin, but that's just a matter of having 400 horsepower versus 330, and I think 350 was the top power output for the previous generation. So this new engine is an absolute dream. So fun to drive, has so much endless torque, and a huge, really exciting top end. So that still applies here. So we have a 7-speed automatic transmission that is extremely good at being silent and cruisy in town, but gets pretty aggressive around corners, especially in Sport Plus, where we some active yaw-based downshifts, so it'll downshift for me right now. Just spit you out of corners so nicely. So even though we don't have a limited slip diff and no manual transmission available, I really don't think you're going to miss it because the car is so much faster than it ever was before. You're talking about like about a 4.4 second 0 to 60 time for this 2017 RS400, and that is almost a full second quicker than any G37S could manage in the past. So the car is heaven on throttle. It does really, really well on this road, which I obviously know pretty well by this point, and know it exceptionally well today because I've done it like 16 times, getting all these additional camera shots. So there are upsides and downsides to this engine being so significantly more ferocious than ever before. One of those huge upsides is, of course, the sheer pace. The downside that I would have to, and torque, is definitely a big improvement. A downside you could definitely note, and you will note right away, is that the engine does not sound as good as it did before. The G37 engine was one of the best in the world in terms of acoustics, and an engine that you could really recognize on the street, even in a blindfold, as a Z-Car or a Nissan VQ series engine. So at this point, the engine has a little bit less sonic character, or a lot less, I should say, because it is twin turbocharged and that sort of closed loop type of system. Gives a lot less of that hollow bella that we of course love so much from the Infiniti V6 from the 2000s. But it's a double whammy, because in addition to being quieter in general and having a very, very mellow, almost non-existent exhaust note, the car is also a lot quieter and more insulated than it ever was before. So it still feels pretty knife edge and feels very, very familiar in a great way around corners, as an ultimate sports car balance. There is a little bit of, there could be a lot more drama in the experience if the exhaust note were louder, or had some remote flaps or something. That would be, that's my #1 thing on my wish list if I owned this car. And there is an Infiniti factory sport exhaust for about $800 that you can get at the dealer and get it fitted as new. But I've actually, like, out on this handling loop today, even though I miss the exhaust note and all the real sound comes from up front in that sort of like just GTR style huge turbo whoosh all the time, I have sort of come to get kind of fond of its sort of like aggressive turbocharged sonics. So it sounds almost like a turbine is the way I'm thinking of it. If you kind of listen, if you listen hard, so I'm just going to leave it in third gear. Listen hard for when the boost kicks, and you can hear it start doing, you know, sort of like an M1 Abrams tank, perhaps, or like a jet engine. There's that sort of like nice rise in intensity as you do go up the rev range, and of course power is just endless. It really is exceptionally strong in the top end and the mid-range. So exceptionally great motor and a great chassis, of course, and one that feels a lot more familiar than ever before without the direct digital active steering. So this car is vastly improved over the vehicle that came before it, though. Feels nimbler, it feels more precise, and it feels even more fun to drive because it's just so uncannily smooth when you want to drive calmly, yet can really be a beast in the Sport Plus mode, and obviously cover ground at a near inhuman pace. It is a very, very, very fast machine. So I love it. I still love it. But I did love the other car with the direct active steering more because I think it has a more futuristic appeal, and I really liked the way it drove in high intensity situations. This steering will be a lot better for Infiniti loyalists and people who really are not fans of that sort of like nothing feel around town. Whereas even the direct steering does get really great at high performance driving. It's just like feels extremely unusual around town and in traffic. So some people do not like it, but so is Q60S right for you? Well, you know, a couple summary points. I love the way this car drives. I think it's so much fun and so fast through those twisties, and feels really pure and balanced and grippy, but also with enough power to break the tail loose when you want. I really do love it for a lot of reasons. and I think this motor is an all-time great. Of course, you can now get this in the Q50 four-door sedan, and this car is really going to appeal to people for whom a Mustang and Camaro present a bunch of unacceptable compromises. You know, really just like the down marketness of their image on the road, and then cabins and resale values are nowhere near what you can get from premium cars. That being said, this Infiniti does have some downsides versus the Audi A5 and the new C-Class Coupe. It is bang on all over the 440's jack in terms of like its capabilities and feel and value proposition. It's better value than the 440. But so it's all over the BMW, but really it feels a little bit left behind by the new C-Class and Audi A5. Even like the smaller engine versions of those vehicles have significantly more plush and modern cabins for materials design, and then the actual technology is vastly upgraded too. So in some ways, this Infiniti's carryover cabin, like, it feels awesome. I still love the drive position, love the seats, love the steering wheel, love everything about it. I even love the way the leather smells when you get in. But I don't love the way this operates, and I think it needs a little bit more standard equipment, basically. So yeah, don't love that stuff, but I genuinely do like this new carbon weave. I mean, it's a great car, but for people who really want the utmost in cabin technology, this is perhaps not at the top of your list. It is still delightful and a divine machine, and one that owners will absolutely love for its extreme beauty. Huge improvements on before in terms of the chassis rigidity, handling balance, and overall NVH. Or I should say that the NVH is so much more improved, but typically when that improves, you lose a lot of feel and you lose a lot of the fun to drive nature of the vehicle. In the Q60S's case, you don't lose any of that. You just get more and better. So this car is stellar and a must-drive for people who are in the market for a luxury coupe that is supercar fast, but it's a daily car drivable. Check out the full review over on carrevsdaily.com in a couple weeks. And of course, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.